Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. Frozen pandemics. It's looking like if anything will destroy humanity in the next few years, it's going to be a pandemic. And while the world has already learned what happens when a coronavirus is let loose amongst the population, things could be significantly worse. According to scientists who study glacier ice, they have discovered viruses previously unknown to science hidden inside ice from the Tibetan Plateau. In a report by Forbes, researchers say these viruses are about 15,000 years old and have only survived by being trapped in the ice. And as far as the researchers can tell, they are unlike any other viruses that have ever been cataloged in modern times. These discoveries were made by taking ice core samples back in 2015. The cores were collected at high altitudes, around 22,000 feet above sea level. The ice cores contain all kinds of atmospheric accumulation, including microbes and viruses. Because the glaciers here in Tibet formed over thousands of years, they had a lot of time to absorb dust, gases, viruses, and all kinds of other invisible forces in their ice. But it's not time to panic yet. When scientists analyzed the ancient ice, they found the genetic codes of 33 viruses. Only 4 of them were able to be identified from virus families that we know about today. 28 of them are novel viruses, which we are all very familiar with by now. However, there is no sign yet that these viruses could be deadly, or even that they can survive in our modern environment. But that's not to say another virus accidentally released from a piece of ice can't wipe out all of civilization as we know it. Number 9. One sound to end them all. Humanity, our planet, and even the entire universe could all be destroyed by one very powerful sound. According to scientists with NASA, the total mass energy of the universe is estimated to be 4.20 times 10 to the 69th power of joules. But according to math, that number is smaller than the energy created by 1100 decibels of sound. When you convert the energy from 1100 decibels directly to mass, it is significantly more than the mass of the universe, 1.113 times 1080 kilograms. And while this may all just be a bunch of science mumbo-jumbo in your ears, let me try to break it down. What all of these numbers mean is that a sound of 1100 decibels would create more energy than there is in the universe. It would result in a black hole, with its radius being larger than the diameter of the known universe. Imagine a bass so powerful that when the beat dropped, a black hole larger than everything in existence opened up and sucked everything into it. That is exactly what would happen if something ever made a sound of 1100 decibels. Of course, this shocking discovery doesn't impact us too much because it's likely never to happen. The loudest sound ever made was just over 300 decibels. And because the decibel scale goes up in powers of 10, the chances of getting anywhere near even 1000 decibels is extremely unlikely. Weird, right? Number 8. The last asteroid. NASA has finally launched a very real mission to help us deal with the threat of a killer asteroid wiping out humanity. Just a few weeks ago, NASA launched the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART for short. The mission was launched on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, due to collide with a small asteroid at the other side of the solar system named Dimorphos. This asteroid isn't a direct threat to our planet, but it is a great test subject for seeing just how well the redirection system works. The whole point behind DART is to hit the asteroid with enough force that it knocks it off its track, redirecting it away from the planet. If it's a success, it means we should be able to destroy a killer asteroid in the future, even one the same size as the one that killed the dinosaurs. Dimorphos is pretty small, about the size of one of the pyramids of Giza, but there are significantly larger asteroids out there. A comet was actually just found in 2021 that proved to be the largest in recorded history. It's about 1,000 times larger than a normal comet, discovered by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania. Its body has a diameter of somewhere between 62 and 124 miles. If this thing were headed straight for our planet, it would be just about enough to rip the Earth in half. Number 7. The boiling star. A shocking new discovery has shown just how our planet, along of course with our civilization, could be destroyed by our very own boiling star. A large star over 700 times larger than the Sun has been found by astronomers. It's called Pi 1 Gruis, and even though it's way larger than the Sun, it has a very similar mass. The thing is that it's much older, and so even though it started out probably the same size as our great shining star, it's now bloated and dangerous. This is what is known as a red giant, or a dying star. For the first time in history, astronomers used the European Southern Observatory's very large telescope to observe the surface of a red giant. They discovered that its surface is made up of convective cells, each one 75 million miles across. Just a single one of these convective cells would reach all the way from the Sun to past Venus. That's how huge the star is. The issue is that Pi 1 Gruis ran out of hydrogen to burn and then stopped its nuclear fusion. Basically, it ran out of energy and started to shrink. This caused the star to heat up to over 100 million degrees. The extreme temperature caused the star to fuse helium into heavy atoms like carbon and oxygen. Its intensely hot core then began to push out the outer layers of the star, causing it to balloon hundreds of times larger than what it originally was. Now, the apocalyptic news here is that when this happens to our own Sun, we will literally be swallowed by it. The Sun will bloat, swallowing Earth into its fiery belly. Number 6. The coming invasion. More unidentified flying objects have been discovered in the Hudson Valley region than just about anywhere else in the USA. The Hudson Valley is just slightly north of New York City, and it's the UFO capital of the world. In the last decade, there have been over 3,000 extraterrestrial encounters reported. That is a shocking amount of potential alien discoveries. And this isn't a new phenomenon either. Between 1982 and 1986, the Hudson River Valley area saw a massive surge in alien activity. This was shocking because the people who lived here were considered well-educated and well-respected, and thousands of these smart, affluent people saw UFOs, or had some kind of contact with aliens. Some nights in the 1980s, calls to 911 about alien visitors became so frequent that the lines continuously got jammed. In any case, some people believe this has all just been a warm-up for an alien invasion. Thousands and thousands of UFOs in the same place could mean that the extraterrestrials are planning to make their touchdown in the Hudson Valley. And if that turns out to be true, chances are the touchdown won't be a friendly one. They could very well wipe out all of humanity. Number 5. Slime mold takeover. Slime mold could take over the human race. The reason is very simple. Slime mold is more advanced, more intelligent, and more useful than humans, even though it doesn't actually have a brain. Still, slime mold has 720 sexes, it's able to heal itself in under 2 minutes, even when cut completely in half, and it can remember important things and even solve complicated problems. This is impressive, seeing as, like I said before, it doesn't have a brain. It also doesn't have a mouth or any eyes. But here's the deal with slime mold. Scientists don't really know what it is. They used to think it was a kind of fungi, seeing as slime mold is normally found in dark and wet environments like caves. But now, scientists are starting to think a slime mold is more like an amoeba. It's a single-cell creep that moves by pulling itself along with its gross tentacle-like arms. Plasmodial slime molds in particular are quite threatening to humans because they've learned how to do tricks. Scientists at the National Center for Scientific Research in France taught slime mold to enter specific areas that they would normally avoid because the areas would usually be filled with toxic substances. What the scientists found was that the wisdom was passed on to different cells. This means the slime mold learns and adapts even without a brain. If it ever gets to the point where slime mold can grow itself fast enough, it might just cover the whole world and snuff out humanity. Are you afraid of the slime mold takeover? Let me know how you feel about this exceptionally intelligent slime in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got lots more videos coming up. Number 4. A black hole. A new discovery has shown that a black hole may just destroy our planet and our civilization, and it wouldn't even need to be that big. Scientists say that a black hole just 1 millimeter would rip apart our entire world. That means if there were a black hole small enough to fit on your pinky nail, it could still kill all of humanity. Because, according to Hassam Ali from the University of Leicester, a 1 millimeter black hole still has a mass that's 10% of our own planet's. Its gravitational pull would be so immense that it would cover a third of the world, slowly ripping it apart at about 3 miles a second. Of course, this is assuming that the tiny black hole appears on the surface of the Earth. If it did, its sphere of influence would literally eat the planet a few seconds at a time until just about nothing was left. The good news is that nobody has figured out how to make their own black hole. If some scientist ever does, they'll probably destroy the Earth. Number 3. The incoming supervolcano. A new scientific study says we are on the brink of destruction, and it's all thanks to a supervolcano. The research was published in the scientific journal Public Library of Science 1. But to understand what the research is talking about, let's take a closer look at supervolcanoes themselves. The difference between a normal volcano and a supervolcano is that the latter is large enough to wipe out every living thing on Earth. An eruption would be devastating. Scientists say that if one of these volcanoes blew its top, it would be so loud that people would hear it all over the planet. Black rain would fall from the sky, the atmosphere would turn dark from so much volcanic ash, and pretty much all life would die. The only thing more devastating than a supervolcano going off is an asteroid several miles long crashing into the planet. Both of these are nightmare scenarios, but supervolcanoes are scarier because we know that there are several of them in the world, and some of them right next door, like the one at Yellowstone National Park. These volcanoes are fueled by impossibly giant magma pools deep beneath the ground. Scientists previously thought that it could take anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 years for the magma pools to grow big enough to create enough pressure to force an eruption. But the new research is showing that these magma pools may only exist for a few thousand years before they explode. Plus, the reservoir at Yellowstone National Park has been rising at blistering speeds since 2004. What this means is that Yellowstone could literally explode at any second and kill everyone on Earth. Number 2. Deadly Egyptian Curse. When the tomb of the boy king Tutankhamun was discovered in 1922, archaeologists were warned not to open the sarcophagus, lest they wished a terrible curse to haunt them for the rest of their lives. After they opened the sarcophagus of the ancient mummy, many of the archaeologists either died or had pretty miserable lives going forward. Of course, there are probably no sarcophagi that will release a horrible Egyptian curse to wipe out humanity. I mean, it might be possible, but it's pretty unlikely. But microbiologist Raul Rivas believes that it may have actually been fungi that caused the death of some of the people who opened Tutankhamun's tomb. He says a fungus, a species of Aspergillus, could have been living for thousands of years inside the sealed sarcophagus. The spores remain viable for a very long time. When the archaeologists opened the tomb, they unwittingly exposed themselves to the spores, which caused their health to deteriorate and some of them to die. What's really scary is that if researchers were exposed to a particularly voracious and deadly type of fungus, like the slime mold, they could theoretically spread it across the world, killing everyone. They just haven't opened the right tomb yet. Number 1. Collapse of time and space. The God particle was discovered by scientists in 2012. At the time, Stephen Hawking said that this particle could potentially destroy the entire universe. The God particle is known as the Higgs boson, and it shapes and sizes everything that we know of in existence. Now that we have discovered the particle and are learning how to utilize it, we could be opening up a Pandora's box of instability. At the highest energy levels, the Higgs boson particle could cause a catastrophic vacuum decay that would result in the complete collapse of both time and space. It's not clear exactly how researchers could do this. The particle is just so uniquely powerful that it can become wildly unstable at any energy above 100 billion giga-electron volts. What this means is that the particle, when exposed to this high energy, could theoretically undergo vacuum decay. The vacuum would expand at the speed of light, basically erasing all of time and space until nothing remained of the universe except infinite blackness. And all of this could happen, according to Stephen Hawking himself, right here in some mad scientist lab. Thanks for watching. How do you think humanity will be wiped out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For more great stuff, be sure to hit the subscribe button and check out our other awesome videos. See you soon. Bye.